Yo, what is going on, guys? Today I'm bringing you guys my first ever Madden 17 franchise rebuild, and today we're going to be rebuilding the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, I only did one franchise rebuild last year on Madden 16, but I am going to be doing one here early in Madden 17, and by all means, am I not a great rebuilder? There's a lot of better rebuilders than me out there that upload these consistently on YouTube. One of those is known as Bingle, aka Bingle Designs. If you guys want to check out his channel, I'll have him linked down below. He has like 10,000 subscribers. He's a really good YouTuber. I'm going to be trying one out here today myself and seeing how we can do. We're going to be doing the Jaguars, of course, like I said, and they have a lot of young talent on their team, a lot of young players that can progress nicely, so this shouldn't be too hard to rebuild. Hopefully we can make it to the playoffs and hopefully win a Super Bowl within like 3 seasons or something like that. But without further ado, let's hop into it and I'll show you guys the lineup. So this is the current lineup we are starting out with. We've got Blake Bortles at quarterback, Chris Ivory and TJ Yeldon at running back, Allen Robinson, Allen Hurns, and Julius Thomas at wide receiver and tight end. And O-line isn't that great. We do have Kelvin Beachum at left tackle, but besides that, they're all 79, 78 overall. Not that great, so hopefully we can get a better O-line through the draft or through trades. And as for the defense, there's a lot of young talent on here, such as Myles Jack with quick development, 73 overall, Dante Fowler Jr. with quick development, 79 overall, Malik Jackson, of course, they acquired this offseason, Jalen Ramsey, he's an 81 overall with superstar development. He should be a high 90 overall player in a year or two. Hopefully he can be. We do have 81 overall Prince Amukamara as our other cornerback, and he is 27 years old with normal development, so his overall rating shouldn't go up too much compared to Ramsey, who will definitely be our #1 cornerback probably by the end of this year. And special teams, nothing really great with that. Our kicker and punter are just average, so we're going to be trying to rebuild this team through trades and through the draft, and I'll see you guys in our first trade. So with our first trade here, we're trading Posluszny, Skuda, and a 4th round pick for the Browns' 1st round pick, and is projected to be the #1 overall pick. So with our second trade, we are trading our starting strong safety, who's only a 76 overall. I'm not even going to try saying his last name. I'm not that good at pronouncing names. A 5th round pick, and Green, our wide receiver, who's like our 3rd or 4th on the depth chart. I'm not really too worried about getting rid of him. Of course, we've got Allen Hurns and Allen Robinson already at wide receiver. For the Niners' 1st round pick, and it's projected to be 3rd overall. So we do have 2 of the top picks in the draft, and that's going to be pretty nice here coming up. So with our next trade here, we're getting rid of our 3rd string cornerback and our backup center with a 6th round pick for the Bears' 1st round pick, projected to be 6 overall, and Eddie Royal, because they didn't have enough cap space otherwise if I didn't include Royal in the trade. So I might be trying to trade Royal to another team for a draft pick or 2. We'll see. So with our last trade of year 1, we're getting rid of Eddie Royal and Bartu. I'm not sure if that's how you say his name or not. He's our backup outside linebacker, only a 76 overall, and outside linebackers are really easy to draft this year in Madden, so I'm not too concerned about getting outside linebackers in the draft. And we are getting the 2nd round pick from the Niners for this trade, so that's going to be it for our trades for year #1. I'll meet you guys at the midway mark. So I lied, this is actually going to be our last trade of year 1. Chris Ivory, a 7th rounder, and our starting left end for the Raiders' 1st round pick, projected to be pick number 10. And if you're wondering why I'm getting rid of Chris Ivory, he's only 82 overall and he's 28 years old. We do have TJ Yeldon behind him, who's only a 79 overall, 3 overalls less, and he's 22 years old, a lot younger and a lot more potential there out of him. I can always get a running back in the draft also if it doesn't work out without Chris Ivory, but we do have a lot of 1st round picks, and I guess I went with the route of building up draft picks and getting good players through the draft instead of just trading for like high overall players already. So hopefully this method pays off for us, as we're going to be trying to get some good players in the draft. But now I will see you guys at the midseason mark and we'll see how we're doing. Halfway through the first season, we're actually 4-3. I didn't expect us to have a winning record. As you can see, our team's not that great. We do have, of course, a good quarterback and some receivers, and our defense, hopefully people are progressing pretty well. As you can see, Myles Jack, 73 overall. It's a D grade for middle linebacker and a D grade for right outside linebacker, but somehow we do have a winning record here, 4-3. I'm going to scout some players and then I'll see you guys at the end of the season. We ended up not making the playoffs actually here in year #1. We started out 4-3 and then we totally tanked the 2nd half of the season and went 6-10, bottom of the division. So at least on the bright side, we'll probably get a high overall draft pick since we did get such a terrible record at 6-10. Blake Bortles with 26 TDs and 12 interceptions, not bad on his part. TJ Yeldon with almost 1,000 yards and 11 touchdowns, and Denard Robinson had 10 touchdowns himself. As for receiving, Julius Thomas with 873 yards and 3 touchdowns. Allen Robinson went off with 1.1k yards and 9 touchdowns. Marquise Lee actually had 12 touchdowns of his own and nearly 1,000 yards. He outperformed Allen Hurns, who only had 1 touchdown, surprisingly, so that's pretty interesting. As for our blockers, I'm assuming they gave up a lot of sacks. Actually, not that many sacks allowed, only 8 from Luke Jokel, 3 from Calvin Beachum, and 2 from Luke. Miles Jack, he went off 109 solo tackles, 143 total, and Ryan Davis, actually, he had 136 tackles. I don't even think he's that high of an overall. He's literally 68 overall, and he was second on our team in tackles. That's absolutely insane. As for tackles for loss, 15 for Roy Miller III and 10 for Tyson, so that's pretty nice. And as for QB sacks, it's looking like Dante Fowler Jr. had 12 sacks, and our left end had 6.5. We have Werner here with 6.5, Malik Jackson with 6, and as for any interceptions, it's looking like we have 5 from Prince Amukamara, 3 from Jalen Ramsey, 1 from Miles Jack, 1 from Telvin Smith, and 1 from Tashawn Gibson. And we actually had 2 defensive touchdowns from Miles Jack. That's absolutely insane. Miles Jack went off for us, and he has a lot of XP now, so we can upgrade him. And let's check out the yearly awards here. It's looking like Aaron Rodgers won MVP. Not really surprised there. Nobody from our team in the running for it, so we'll take a look here at the AFC awards. It's looking like Big Ben won Offensive Player of the Year, and nobody from our offense made it in the top 10. As for Defensive Player of the Year, Malcolm Smith, actually from the Raiders, winning that one. He beat out JJ Watt and nobody from our team yet again. Offensive Rookie of the Year, it's looking like no one from our team yet again. And as for Defensive Player of the Year, as expected, Miles Jack, of course, comes in first, Joey Bosa in second, Jalen Ramsey in third. It's looking like Luke Jokel is not interested in re-signing. I gave him almost $30 million and he's not interested. He's only an 80 overall, and of course he is going to be going to free agency now. I don't think I'm going to bother franchise tagging him. I might, I'm just not really sure. Maybe we can get a punter back here in Ryan Quigley, and it turns out he is coming back, so that's nice. We do retain our punter. So in free agency, there really isn't anyone this year that's catching my eye. DeMarcus Ware and Julius Peppers are the 2 best, and they're in their mid to late 30s, and I'm not really interested in them. I could get Tony Jefferson, 81 overall, 25 years old, free safety, but the Dolphins, as you can see, they're offering a lot for him, 102 points. I don't think I want to spend that much room on him. We do have a lot of cap space, obviously, but I feel like I could save that for maybe next offseason or re-signing players next offseason, and I don't think I'm going to bid on anyone here in this free agency, but if I do, I'll let you guys know. So here we are in the draft, and as you can see, we have a lot of high overall picks. We have the 1st and 2nd, we have the 6th overall pick, we have the 10th overall pick, and scrolling down here, we have the 22nd, and I believe we have some early 2nd rounders. We do have the 38th and 42nd picks, so we have a lot of high overall picks, and this draft is pretty underwhelming to say the least. Like, from what I've scouted, there's really not that many great players in the draft. I do think I can get a few gems, however, so we're going to be trying to do that as we do have some holes to fill on the team. With our 1st overall pick, we're taking a left end, and I'm not sure how this is going to turn out. He did have a great combine, and his top 3 skills are pretty nice, but I think I may be reaching for him a little bit. He probably is going to be like more of a mid-first rounder, but we are going to be taking him 1st overall, and he's actually number 1 in true talent with normal development and 79 overall. Now, if he is only a 79 overall and he is the best player in the draft, that's actually probably meaning this is going to be a very underwhelming draft, so I might try to trade out of some of my top picks to get picks next year. So with this trade, we are trading our 2nd overall pick for the Falcons' 7th pick, so we're moving 5 picks down, their 2nd round pick, which is an early 2nd round, and their 1st round pick next year. This is an awesome trade. Since we do have back-to-back picks here at number 6 and 7, I am going to be trading with the Saints for their 1st and 2nd rounder next year, and that's a pretty high overall 1st rounder that it's projected to be, so I'm happy with this trade, and we're getting a 3rd rounder this year. So I am going to be trading away the 7th overall pick. I do have the 10th overall, and I'm probably going to be picking a player with that, but with this trade, we are getting a 1st and 2nd round pick next year from the 49ers and a 4th round pick this year, so definitely stock it up on draft picks for next year because this draft was really underwhelming. It's actually the worst draft I've ever had doing a franchise, and I have done quite a few franchises without recording them this year on Madden 17. With the 10th overall pick, we're taking a running back here, A- stiff arm, A- carrying, B+ trucking. He definitely looks like the best running back in the draft, projected to be a mid-1st rounder. His combine was a 7.5, that's pretty good. He's not the fastest running back, but hopefully he's going to be good. Let's see what he is. He actually is an 81 overall with quick development and number 5 in true talent, and I guess that makes really no sense to me how we drafted a 79 overall that was number 1 in true talent, and we got an 81 overall that's 5th in true talent, so I guess there are 80 overall pluses in this draft, and that kind of confuses confused me there. I thought there wasn't going to be any 80 overall since we did get the #1 in true talent. He wasn't even an 80, but we do get a great running back here in a Lateral Herbert. That's a very strange name. So with this pick, I actually am going to be taking a center here. He was the fastest center in the draft. He has B run block, B- pass, and impact blocks, so he should be a beast. Let's see, 77 overall normal. He's not that bad. As you can see, his strength, run block, pass block, and impact block is all over 80. If we just get his awareness up, I'm sure he's going to be a high overall, so I think that was a solid pick there in Zach Slate, and I might be trading away the rest of my draft picks as I don't really have anyone on my board still. This is going to be our final pick of the draft, a middle linebacker. I'm not even going to try saying his name. He has B+ hit power, B- pursuit, and B- tackle. He had a 7.5 grade for the combine, so let's take him. 72 overall normal, so that's really underwhelming. I thought he would be better than that, but of course, like I said, this draft isn't that great. We are going to be making a little trade here. We're getting rid of Roy Miller III. He did perform pretty well for us, but he is 30 years old already, and he's going to be starting to regress soon, for a 3rd round pick from the Bears this coming year in the draft. This is our lineup here for year number 2. We didn't make any upgrades on the O-line besides Zach Slate, who's actually a downgrade from Brandon Linder, but I think Slate's going to progress better as Linder is older and only 2 overalls better, and our team is looking pretty nice so far for year number 2. Julius Thomas is looking like he's going down in overall. He's 29 years old, so I'm not sure how. He was like, I think an 82 or something at the start of last season, and I'm going to progress players obviously before we hop into it, but this is what it's looking like so far. I'll show you guys their updated overalls at the midseason mark, and also I told you guys I loaded up on draft picks, and look at this. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total 1st round picks next year, and we've got 3, 4, 5 total 2nd round picks, and we do have a couple 3rd round picks, so we have a lot of good overall picks this coming draft, and I might try trading up into the top 5. I'm not sure yet. So we made a pretty big trade here before we hop into year number 2, and we're trading away our starting center and a 4th round pick for the Bears' 1st round pick, and they're projected to have the #1 pick in the draft, so that's definitely good for us. And of course, I just drafted a center in the previous draft, so getting rid of our current one isn't that big of a deal for me, and a 4th rounder for possibly the 1st pick in the next draft. Definitely liking the looks of that trade. This is what our lineup is looking like for year number 2. Blake Bortles is up to an 84 overall. Of course, our rookie running back is already an 81 overall, and TJ Yeldon's an 81 also, so I'm probably going to keep him as a backup. Definitely going to be a solid one in that. Allen Robinson's up to a 90 overall, and Allen Hurns an 87. Julius Thomas, he's still at an 82 overall. I think he's going to be regressing pretty soon. Our O-line is definitely not that good. I'm going to be trying to upgrade it more in this next draft. Hopefully, there's some better players in it for the O-line. And as for defense, Myles Jack is up to an 82 overall already. He's absolutely insane, and all I did was upgrade his awareness and play rec and a few other things by like 1 or 2, and he's all the way up to an 82. Hopefully, he can get some more XP this season, and probably just as much as last year. He had like 36,000, I think, and Prince Amukamara, it looks like he regressed down to a 79, but Jalen Ramsey, like I predicted, he's already up to an 85 overall. Him and Myles Jack are going off. Dante Fowler Jr. is up to an 81 overall, so I'm liking the looks of our defense. Hopefully, we can get closer to the playoffs this year, maybe a wild card spot at the most. I'm not really expecting to, though, because we do have some holes on this team, and like I said, this is going to be about a 3-year rebuild, maybe even 4 if we can't make the playoffs at all, so I'll meet you guys at the midseason mark and see how we're doing. At the midseason mark, we're 4-3 for the 2nd straight year, and we're actually at the top of the division, tied with the Texans. Hopefully, we don't have a huge second half of the season slump like we did last year. We actually finished in a 3-way tie for 1st place in the AFC South, and unfortunately, we didn't have a tiebreaker from the Texans and Titans, so we missed the postseason just barely this year. That's very unfortunate. Taking a look at the team, it looks like Herbert actually got benched by my CPU coach. I'm not sure why that is. He has more XP than Yeldon, and I figured he would be better than Yeldon, but apparently he got benched and he lost confidence, so he's down to a 79 overall. Other than that, our team is looking pretty solid all the way around. Myles Jack only has 11,000 XP this time around. Jalen Ramsey has 49,000 actually. Holy crap. I didn't even see that till just now. That's absolutely insane. He's definitely going to be a 90 plus from that. Taking a look at the stats from our team, Blake Bortles with 4,400 yards, 26 TDs to 18 interceptions. Pretty solid season from him. Herbert had almost 1,000 yards despite apparently getting benched for Yeldon by my coach. I'm not sure about that. Yeldon had 10 touchdowns and Herbert had 6. As for receiving, Marquise Lee actually had over 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns. Allen Hurns had 900 yards, 6 touchdowns. Julius Thomas had 900 yards, 6 touchdowns, and Allen Robinson had 900 yards, 6 touchdowns. So literally 4 receivers with 6 touchdowns. That's pretty crazy. And as for blocking this year, it looks like Beachum gave up 13 sacks and Parnell gave up 11. So we let up more sacks this year, which is pretty unfortunate. But Myles Jack went off with 130 tackles. And as for tackles for loss, Malik Jackson had 8 and our left end had 5. And interceptions this year, it's looking like Jalen Ramsey had 8 and Prince Amukamara with 3 and Colvin with 2. Myles Jack with 1. I think Aaron Rodgers won MVP for the 2nd straight year. Definitely looks like he did, and nobody from our team came in the running. So here for AFC Offensive Player of the Year, it's looking like nobody from our team is here. Chris Ivory, who we actually traded away, is in the running. That's kind of embarrassing, but he did regress down to an 81. As defensive-wise, Jalen Ramsey only came in 10th. I think he should have been higher there, I'm not sure, but Offensive Rookie of the Year, Herbert came in 3rd, and nobody else from our team by the looks of it. Defensive Rookie of the Year, it's looking like we actually had Baylark in 4th place, and nobody else from our teams. In the offseason, we did bring back Allen Robinson and our kicker, but we lost a few other players. In free agency, we did sign Corey Linsley and a tight end. I'm not even going to try saying his name. Devontae Adams looks like he rejected our offer, but as you can see, we do have a good tight end now. He's in his mid-20s, so he's not going to regress like Julius Thomas. We got an 86 overall center because I don't really want to wait for Slate to develop. He's only a 77, and we're trying to win a Super Bowl here in the next 2 years. And as for our defense, it's still the same. Nothing has changed on it. We're going to be trying to get a right outside linebacker. So here in the draft, we actually have the 3rd, 4th, and 5th overall pick all in a row. We actually do have the 14th and 15th pick back-to-back, the 23rd pick, and we do have the 32nd, 33rd, and 35th draft pick. We have a lot of high draft picks. We also got the 47th, 51st, 55th. We have a lot of 1st and 2nd round picks, even the 68th. So I'm going to actually try to trade up to the number 1 overall pick because I got somebody on my draft board and I think he's going to go in one of the top 2 picks. So I traded up to the 1st overall pick with the Ravens. We got rid of Slate, who I just drafted last year because we did, of course, sign a center in free agency, and I traded away a 2nd round pick. We do have like 3 other 2nd round picks, so that's not a big deal, but we now have the 1st overall pick in the draft, and with this pick, I'm going to be taking somebody who I think is going to be absolutely insane. He's a right outside linebacker. He's right here, actually. His name is Tyrone Emmanuel. He is the 2nd fastest in the draft, and he has a really good combine, and his top 3 skills are absolutely amazing. So let's see how he turns out. It's only a 77 overall normal. I was really certain that right outside linebacker was going to be good. He turned out to just be completely average, which kind of sucks because I thought he was going to be good. It looked like he was going to be good, but I think this wide receiver here, George Drew, is going to be good. A spec catch, A minus catch in traffic, and B route running. 78 overall superstar, 4th best in the draft. Definitely a good pick there. We do have 2 more picks here, all back to back, and I think with this one, I'm going to be taking a cornerback here, and his top 3 skills are decent: B zone, B press, and C plus man coverage. That's about the best in this draft. He has a really good combine at 7.7, and we're going to take him here, and he turns out to be a 78 overall quick. So with the 5th pick, I'm actually going to be taking a strong safety here. It says he's projected to be a mid-first rounder, so I might be reaching for him a little bit, but we definitely need a good safety on the team. I don't want to risk him getting picked. He has A minus hit power, B zone, and B minus pursuit. He's the 2nd fastest in the draft, 78 overall normal. He's number 14 in true talent. I kind of reached for him a little bit, I guess. So with the 14th pick here, I'm actually going to be taking Sylvester Shelton. He has some great top 3 skills, and he had a pretty good combine. Welcome to the team. 76 overall normal, 28 in true talent. So we're definitely not having that great of a draft as I expected this year. Now, call me crazy, but I'm actually going to try taking a quarterback here. And if you're wondering why, it's because usually whenever a quarterback has A or A plus throw power, it's very rare to have an A plus throw power. I actually did draft 2 quarterbacks though with A plus throw power. They turned out to be insane players, and A throw power is pretty good. He has B plus short accuracy and B mid. He had a great combine. He's the best QB in this draft, and I think he's going to be better than Blake Bortles. Blake Bortles, he's more of like an average quarterback here on this roster. He's only like an 84 overall right now, so I might be making a bad decision here taking Lyndon Paulson, but we are going to draft him. 84 overall superstar, number 1 in true talent. That's what I'm talking about. He is insane. I told you guys, quarterbacks with good throw power are insane. He has 84 deep accuracy right off the bat. He is definitely replacing Blake Bortles. 84 overall superstar, 87 short, 85 mid, and 84 deep accuracy, 95 throw power. The 2 quarterbacks I drafted in other franchises that had A+ throw power was a 96. His is only 1 less, and he has insane stats. Definitely our QB of the future. I'm so happy I took him, the best player in the draft, and he is hopefully going to lead us to a Super Bowl here this season or the next. With this pick, I'm going to be taking a right guard, B pass block, B- impact, and C+ run block. Definitely need a good O-lineman. 75 normal. He's pretty average to say the least, but this free safety here, he doesn't have that great of top 3 skills. He's the best available at the moment. He's projected to be a late first rounder, so we're going to take him here. 76 slow, 20th in true talent. Definitely not what I wanted there, only slow development. Now with this pick, I'm going to be taking a right tackle, Keith McLeon. He has decent top 3 skills. Pass block isn't that good. He had a good combine. We'll see. 73 overall normal, 12th in true talent. Not that bad. Hopefully we can get him upgraded, but I'm going to be trading away the rest of my picks, and I'll see you guys in the offseason. So now that we have our QB of the future, I obviously don't need Blake Bortles anymore, so I'm trading him a 4th and a 7th for the Bears' first round pick next year, projected to be 4th overall. And I'm pretty sure we will be needing another season because we want Paulson to definitely develop into like the mid-90s at least, and I think he can do that before next season, so we might be doing 2 more seasons. At the mid-season mark, we are 7-0. I cannot believe we actually went undefeated, and just to prove I didn't force any wins for me, here you go. We literally are undefeated at the mid-season mark, 7-0. That's absolutely insane. I was not expecting to do this well, and apparently some team relocated to Mexico. I'm not sure which team that is, but as you can see, our offense is progressing pretty nicely, and as for defense, we have some players getting some XP already, and I'm surprised we're undefeated at this point. I'm pretty sure we won't be able to keep that streak going into the second half of the season. Hopefully we can make the playoffs though and not just totally slump off in the second half like we have done the past 2 seasons. So I'm going to resign some players and scout some people, and I'll see you guys hopefully in the playoffs if we can keep this going. Well guys, we went 8-8. We started out 7-0 and finished the season 8-8. We literally went 1-7. Checking out the stats from this season, Lyndon Paulson nearly threw for 5,000 yards in his rookie season, 27 touchdowns and 17 interceptions. He played insane for us in his rookie season. TJ Yeldon actually had over 1,000 yards rushing. As for receiving, Allen Robinson had 1,400 yards and 6 touchdowns, and George Drew, a 72 overall, had 1,000 yards and 10 TDs. That's pretty insane. He outperformed Allen Hurns, who despite having 900 receiving yards, did not catch a single touchdown. That's pretty crazy if you ask me. And as for sacks allowed, Calvin Beachum let up 20, and Keith McLeon let up 10. As for defense, Tyrone Emmanuel led the team in tackles, 152. Miles Jack had 147, and Latimer had 101. Tackles for loss, Malik Jackson had 12, Sheldon Day had 7, and Tyrone Emmanuel, Lee Baylark, and Dante Fowler Jr. all had 5, and interceptions, it's looking like Miles Jack actually led the team with 4, Jalen Ramsey with 3, and Aaron Colvin with 2. As for league MVP, Matt Ryan actually won it this year. We do have Lyndon Paulson coming in 10th in the running, and AFC Offensive Player of the Year goes to Andy Dalton, and Lyndon Paulson's all the way down at number 7. That's pretty surprising to say the least. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Aldon Smith, and it's looking like Miles Jack came in 6th place there. Offensive Rookie of the Year, of course, Lyndon Paulson comes in 1st. We actually have George Drew coming in 4th, and the Golden Eagles, another team relocated by the looks of it, Sylvester Shelton actually came in 10th for Offensive Rookie of the Year. So our Defensive Rookie of the Year, it's going to Tyrone Emmanuel. That's absolutely awesome. And Latimer came in 5th place for Defensive Rookie of the Year, and I think, yes, we do have Javante here coming in 7th. So our rookies played really well for us. Hopefully this next season we can finally make the playoffs. I'm surprised we have yet to make the playoffs up to this point, so hopefully we can do it in our final season coming up next. We've got some players to upgrade and everything, and we of course have free agency and the draft coming up. So in free agency, I'm only going to be bringing in one player. That's a free safety, Byron Jones. He's an 85 overall, definitely a great safety option for us now. Here we are in the draft. We actually don't have any top 10 picks. We have the 11th, the 16th, we have the 24th, the 27th, and that's it for the first round. So I might be trying to trade up into the top 10, and I'll let you guys know if I do. So we are trading with the Ravens yet again to get back to the #1 overall pick in the draft. We're trading a second rounder and Sylvester Shelton, who is our 4th wide receiver on the depth chart. So definitely going to be trying to get a good player here at the first overall pick. So with the first overall pick, I'm going to be taking Marquise Marion. He looks insane. His top 3 skills are amazing: B+ zone, B man, and B press. His combine was amazing, 7.0. Let's see what he turns out to be. 81 overall with normal development. That's unfortunate. He wasn't superstar. I figured he would be, but he is number 3 in true talent, 81 overall. Definitely a great pick here at the #1 spot. With this trade, we're trading up to the 2nd overall pick with the Patriots. I'm getting rid of a second rounder, one of my first rounders, and a 66 overall right tackle who's like 33 years old. So definitely going to be trying to hit a gem with this one, and I think I got the guy. Hayden Parsons, B+ catch and traffic, spec catch and release, 7.2 combine, early first round projected. We're going to take him here, and he's only 78 normal, so that's unfortunate. He is number 6 in true talent. I thought he was going to be good. Yet again, that's 2 players I guess I mis-scouted, but we're going to sim ahead here to the 11th overall pick. With this pick, I'm going to be taking a right outside linebacker. His top 3 skills are all B-, so that's decent. He's the 2nd fastest, and he had a pretty good combine, so we're going to take him here. Turns out to be a 74 slow. That's a terrible pick. I am definitely not having a good draft here compared to last year where we got that insane quarterback, so hopefully we can get somebody better here at pick number 16. Pick number 16, I'm going to be taking a strong safety, Andrew Connor, B+ hit power, B pursuit, and B- zone. He had a 7.0 combine. He turns out to be a 78 overall superstar development, number 5 true talent. Definitely a good pick there, and we have some insane safeties on the team now. And Elliott Conwell hopefully is going to be good. His impact block isn't that great, but his run and pass block is good. 77 overall normal. He is 23rd in true talent, and I got him at 24, so that's about right there. I'm going to be taking a left guard, Darren McDaniels. He had a pretty good combine, and his top 3 skills are decent. 72 overall normal, so once again, we're not really having that much luck with this draft besides that strong safety we selected. There's nobody left on my board really that I'm liking, so I'm going to trade away the rest of my picks and simulate to the end of the draft. So I'll meet you guys in the preseason for our final season of this rebuild. We actually made a little trade here before we hop into the final season, and by little I mean a huge trade. Now we're not doing another draft since this is the final season, so I traded away my 1st, 2nd, and 3rd round draft pick for 94 overall Tyler Eifert. Definitely going to be a huge upgrade at tight end. Hopefully we're able to make the playoffs this year. I did upgrade some players, and our team is looking way better. Our O-line is definitely coming around now. Everyone's in the mid to lower 80s except for Conwell, who we just drafted, who's a 77. Allen Robinson's all the way up to a 92, and Hearns is up to a 90. Drew is still only at a 78, unfortunately. Of course, we do have Tyler Eifert now, 94 overall. As for defense, Jalen Ramsey is all the way up to a 95, and Tyrone Emmanuel, he is the very surprised player if you ask me. He was only normal development, and he went from a 77 in his rookie year to a 90 overall in his 2nd year, and he's the same overall as Miles Jack now, and both are 90 overall, and Baylark is all the way up to an 89. He's surprisingly the best person on our D-line, which is pretty crazy seeing that we do have Dante Fowler Jr. and Malik Jackson on that D-line. Our cornerbacks, besides Jalen Ramsey, we do have Marion and Latimer, both 81 overalls. Of course, Paulson's up to a 93 overall. I might try to make one more trade to get another good player that can help push us into the postseason. We made one final trade, and this was definitely needed. We've got 93 overall Giovanni Bernard. I traded 3 second-round picks. Maybe this is a little cheesy with the last 2 trades I made, both to the Bengals, getting the 2 of their best players, but I don't really care because we need those players if we want to make the postseason here, being that we haven't made the postseason in our first 3 seasons. At the midseason mark, we are 6-1. This looks oddly familiar because just last season we started out 7-0 and finished 8-8. Hopefully this year we don't just totally do terrible in the second half of the year. I would really be disappointed if we did because this is going to be our final season, but we do go 6-1, and as you can see, just to show you guys that I didn't force any wins in case you guys do question it, as you can see I didn't. We did start out 6-1. Hopefully we do not do absolutely terrible in the second half of the season. We do need to make the playoffs this year, and everyone's coming along pretty nicely. Holy crap, we finished the year 14-2. We only lost one other game in the second half of the season, so we got a first round bye, which is insane. 14-2. I don't know how we turned that around so much. much, but we're going to sim to the next week, and then I'm going to upgrade players, and hopefully we can make the Super Bowl. We literally have a 14-2 team. I'll take a look here real quick. I'm not going to hop in the game. We're going to see what our overall is actually, and it turns out we're a 90 overall. We better win the Super Bowl this year, hopefully. After upgrading everyone and with their confidence, Paulson is up to a 99 overall. His confidence is giving him a 4 boost. He's only a 95 overall, but of course with that confidence up to a 99. Allen Robinson's up to a 93, Drew an 81, and Allen Hurns stays at a 90. Tyler Eifert 96. Our O-line is finally looking good. Besides Conwell, he's only a 79, but Beacham's an 83, Lindsley's an 87, Can's an 84, and McLeoin's a 90. And as for our defense here, Miles Jack up to a 93, Emmanuel up to a 93, Smith up to an 84, strong safety's up to an 83, and Byron Jones is up to an 87. Jalen Ramsey's nearly a 99 overall. He's sitting at 97 currently. Dante Fowler Jr. 87, Malik Jackson still at 85, but Baylark is up to a 91, and Marion's up to an 83. Our team is looking amazing. Taking a look here at the stats on this season, Paulson nearly threw for 5,000 yards again. He led the league in passing with 4,900, 39 TDs to only 13 interceptions with 70% completion percentage. That is amazing. As for rushing, Giovanni Bernard nearly got 2,000. He got 1.6K and 19 rushing touchdowns. Oh my goodness, and TJ Yeldon had 13. That's insane. We scored a lot of touchdowns this season, and our record showed for 14-2. Tyler Eifert with 1,000 yards and 4 TDs. Allen Hurns, he had a bounce back year with 900, nearly 1,000 yards and 9 TDs. And Allen Robinson, 1,300 yards just about with 9 touchdowns. Drew had 8, Bernard had 5, Yeldon had 3. We had a lot of touchdowns this year. As for blocking, let's see how everyone did. Beacham let up 15, but other than that, only Kane let up 1, and nobody else let up a sack. Miles Jack led the team in tackles, and Emmanuel came in second, both with over 100. As for QB sacks, we actually had 15 from Dante Fowler Jr. and 8.5 from Baylark, 7.5 from Day, and 5.5 from Emmanuel, with 5 from Malik Jackson. So our defense played very well. Javonte had 4, Emmanuel had 3, Miles Jack had 3, Latimer and Ramsey both had 2, and then Baylark and Jones had 1. And we're taking a look here at touchdowns. Hopefully our defense got at least 1 touchdown this year. Turns out we actually did from Dante Fowler Jr., so that's pretty nice. He had the most offensive yards in the league this year. That's absolutely insane. And Lyndon Paulson wins MVP. Giovanni Bernard comes in second. That is absolutely awesome for us, and those are the only 2 from us that came in MVP. Coach of the Year goes to Gus Bradley, of course, as we did have the best record, and Giovanni Bernard actually wins Offensive Player of the Year, and Le'Veon Bell finishes ahead of Paulson. Defensive Player of the Year goes to JJ Watt, beating out Emmanuel and Miles Jack, and Dante Fowler Jr. actually came in 7th for us, so we had 3 players in the top 10. Offensive Rookie of the Year, it's looking like none of them are from our team, and defensive, we actually have Marion in 4th, and that's it. Oh, we actually do have Blackson, who is only a 70 overall, coming in 10th, so that's pretty nice. Here we are in the divisional round against the Steelers. Hopefully we can get a W here today. It's looking like it's a close one so far. Steelers actually take the lead here at the end of the first quarter. We're going to jump ahead to halftime. Hopefully we can go into halftime with the lead, because I really want to make the Super Bowl here in our final year. It's looking like we're only up by 6, and that's going to stay that way at halftime. We're going to skip ahead to the 4th quarter, and we do go up 28-14 now. We've got the ball, and that should put it away. We do have the ball at the 1-yard line, and if we don't win this game, I'll be very surprised. 35-14, 35-21, 38-21. It's looking like we are moving on to the AFC Championship game. So here we are in the AFC Championship game. We're facing the 9-6-1 Kansas City Chiefs, and we have a 4 overall advantage on them, so we should be getting this W here today. We're only up by 7 at the end of the first quarter. I would like to be up by more than just 1 possession, since it is Madden simulation, and Chiefs do get on the board. Luckily, we get another touchdown to go up 14-3 at halftime. Our defense is definitely playing well by the looks of it. We do get another field goal there and a touchdown to make it 24-3, so unless Madden simulation totally BS's us, this should be a W for us. And I was about to jump in there. It looked like the Chiefs are about to score a touchdown, but we do actually win 31-17, and we are moving on to the the Super Bowl. Let's take a look here at the stats actually first. Paulson went 17 for 26 with 211 yards, only 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Giovanni Bernard had a $142 on the ground with 2 touchdowns. That's amazing. Allen Robinson had over 100 yards, no touchdowns. And our only receiving touchdown was from Giovanni Bernard. So Bernard and Paulson went off just like they did in the regular season, and thanks to them, we are moving on to the Super Bowl. In the Super Bowl, we are facing the 10-6 Carolina Panthers. Don't let the record deceive you, because they're a very difficult team to beat. Of course, we are 14-2, the best team in the league, and everyone is looking amazing. This is going to be our final roster here for our final game of this rebuild. Everyone progressed amazingly throughout the season, and our defense is looking solid, so we better win this Super Bowl, and let's hop into it and hope we do. Here we are in this Super Bowl. We're 14-2. The Panthers are 10-6. We're 91 overall. The Panthers are 86 overall, so if we don't win this game, I'll be very surprised to say the least. We're going to simulate to the end of the first quarter and see how we do. It's looking like it's a low-scoring game so far. The Panthers are out to a 3-0 lead at the end of the first, not liking the looks of that. So at the end of the second quarter, we're up 21-13 at halftime. Hopefully we can keep this going as we do get another touchdown to go up by 15. The Panthers, however, get a field goal of their own to make it a 12-point game. So here we are in the final quarter. We're going to see how we do. We're up 35-16. 42-16. This game is out of reach, and the Jacksonville Jaguars are your Super Bowl champions. We officially rebuilt the Jaguars into a Super Bowl caliber team, and luckily here in our final season, we just went off. We went 14-2. We won the Super Bowl, and everyone played amazingly. We drafted the best quarterback I've ever had, and he progressed to a 99 overall in his second year, and the whole team just played well. Everyone progressed really nicely, and we made some great draft picks, and it's looking like Paulson's going to be the Super Bowl MVP, so absolutely incredible. That's absolutely awesome, and Paulson was 19 for 26 for 308 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did have 2 interceptions, unfortunately. Bernard had 143 yards and 3 TDs. He was amazing. I'm glad I picked him up for our final year, and Eifert, I'm glad I picked him up too, because he had a $110 and 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl, and this was definitely a successful rebuild. We couldn't make the playoffs the first 3 seasons, but we slowly and surely built up through the draft and getting those 2 trades in the final season for Eifert and Giovanni Bernard, and with that, we won this Super Bowl in our final year and went 14-2. An absolutely awesome rebuild. I had fun doing this, and if you guys enjoyed my first Madden 17 connected franchise rebuild, be sure to leave a like on this video and comment down below if you want me to do more, and also in your comment, tell me what team you want me to do next. So hopefully you guys did enjoy. Leave a like if you did, comment down below what team you want me to do next, and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in my next Madden 17 video soon. Peace out, guys.